Pasha Shemois. There's a very famous Rashi in this week's Pasha, which is a Gemara in Saita, when it says that Moshe's sister told Bas Parah, "Ha'elech v'karisi lecha, krisi lach isha menekes min ivriyos." Shall I go get you a woman, a Jewish woman, to nurse Moshe Rabbeinu?
Wet nurse.
Why did she offer an ivriyos? Because the more I ask the kasha, the more I understand that there's no reason why Moshe Rabbeinu could not have nursed from a goy. So Maishna Me'evriyos says Gemara Malamed Shech Ziru the Moshe Kala Mitzriyos. Moshe she tried to bring Moshe to all the goyish the Mitzriyos nurses. But Lo Yanak he wasn't Yanik, he didn't nurse from them. Omar Pesha Osel Davar Mashchina Yanek Davar Tamei. The mouth that's going to end up speaking with the Eibishter should nurse a Davar Tamei, and therefore she went ahead and offered to bring her a nurse, a Jewish nurse for Moshe Rabbeinu.
One question.
Now,
how did she get into the palace? That's the craziest question.
Who said she went to the palace?
The craziest question is not shmuz for now.
She raised her in her own
But
house.
one thing we see from the whole parsha with the Bas Parah of Moshe Rabbeinu, Parah did everything he could to try to kill Moshe Rabbeinu. Right, everything he could, he did to try to kill Moshe Rabbeinu. Hashem was laughing at him. Where was Moshe Rabbeinu? Parah himself brought up Moshe Rabbeinu. If you look in history, you see all the time that the Yeshua happened in the same place where the people were trying to stop it from happening. Hashem does things, and a lot of times you don't see it, but he's laughing. He's doing the right thing. The Eibishter is bringing Moshe Rabbeinu in Paro's house, and Paro is trying to kill Moshe Rabbeinu. But that's how they got into the palace. It wasn't a problem. But so it says over here that really Moshe could have taken milk from the Mitzrayos.
But she's no guy to go into the palace because she was there once before when he told him to kill the baby.
Yeah. She got away in. She knew Bas Parah. She got away in. Now, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu could have really nursed from the Goyisha, from the Mitzrayos, but it says, this mouth that's going to speak with the Eibishter, shouldn't nurse from the Mitzrayos. The truth is, it's a Gemara in Ksubis. The Gemara says that a Jewish child is allowed to nurse from a Goyisha woman. Now, we'll see in a second, we don't do it, we'll see why. But in Siman Pei Aleph, where it speaks about Chalav Isha as mutter, there's a whole question in the Gemara. If you're allowed to drink milk from a person, we know that people you're not supposed to eat. But what the Isser is, we spoke about it once, if there's an Isser Deraisa or not to eat people. But anything you're not allowed to eat, you're not allowed to eat what comes out of it either. So how are you allowed to eat milk coming from a person? So there's a Gemara about it, and we speak about it. So the Gemara says, the halacha says, that Siman Pei Aleph, that Chalav Isha mutter. You're allowed to drink the milk of a woman, and the Gemara says over there, the halacha is brought down over there that you're supposed to nurse a child till 2 years old, and after that you're supposed to stop. And then the halacha says, interesting, there's a Piskei Tshuva here. There's a whole machlokes in the world. I'm not sure if it's a machlokes anymore. If nursing is good, nursing is not good, what do doctors say?
Of course it's good.
Nursing is good. So the Piskei Tshuva here that says, he brings that I Mishas Tshuvas Adnei Paz. Siman Yud Zayin. I'm not sure what the Adnei Paz is. Shekosav, the Masha Oimrim. People used to say, I'm not sure who it was, but people used to say, Techol Kama de Memayit Hatinik Ba'anoko, the more a child doesn't nurse, Yosir Mukshur LaTorah. He's more set to learn Torah. That's what people used to say. He says, Toisu, it's a mistake. He says it's a mistake, it's not true. Or maybe Raya Megamora, he brings Raya from the Gemara B'Sayim. And he says like this, to Adnei Paz, the Chiddush. The Af Isser Yesh. It's Osir. Yesh, Ligmoil, Koidim Chof Dal Chodesh. To stop nursing before 24 months. Unless you're pregnant with another child, or for a different reason. But if there's no reason why you're stopping to nurse, he says there's an Isser to stop nursing before 24 months. Pesach Tshuva brings it down. It's good for doctors to know. It's 22 years. Huh?
The Pascha like this?
It's Pesach Tshuva. It's not put down a Mechama. Pesach Tshuva brings it down. We go to Pesach Tshuva.
A lot of people have to go out. They use the bottle.
Yeah, first of all, it's two things. First of all, people pump,
People
right?
don't have enough.
So today, it's not a problem. People it's hard for them to go out to work, whatever it is. They have other ways of getting the milk to the baby.
Right.
But even if there's a reason why they can't nurse, that's fine. He's saying if there's no reason why stopping to nurse, just because it's easier, he says it's yesh b'davar. It's good to know. But then the Ramah brings down chalav mitzvahs k'chalav Yisraelis. The chalav of a Goyish woman is just like the chalav of the milk of a Jewish woman, and it's mutter. U'mekol makam, he says, lo yiniku tinik min ha-mitzvahs im efshar b'Yisraelis. A child should not nurse from a Goyish woman. Now, why not? What's the reason why? So there's two reasons we see in the Rishonim. Rashi over here in this Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to nurse from the Mitzrayim. Why? Because he should nurse a davar tamei. He says Rashi, dvarim tmeim. What does that mean? Shachilasa, the woman, the Goyish woman, ate dvarim tmeim. She eats non-kosher food. And what happens about tinuk toyem bechelba kol masha toichal? The child tastes in the milk of the mother whatever the mother eats. And we know that if a mother eats certain foods, it can make the kid gassy because it affects the kid. So he says,
how about a non-from Jewish woman?
Okay, we'll get to that. So he says, therefore you should not nurse from a Goyish woman. Rashi says because they're eating the veils of treves, they're eating non-kosher food, and the non-kosher food goes from them into the kid's body. That's what Rashi says, and that's also the truth is there's a Ruah. Hagros Ashri says the same thing. The Hagros Ashri in Avodah Zarah says also the same reason. He says that you shouldn't. But then he brings down still the Hazir as a menika shelo nevelos. He says you should tell the menikos. That means Jewish woman, not Goyish woman. Jewish women who are not makbid. No, friar ladies are not makbid to eat non-kosher food. He says you should tell them they're not makbid to eat kosher food. I mean, you should tell them that while they're nursing, at least shelo yechlu nevelos v'chazir v'kol shkin she'en la'achilom dvarim tmeim v'raya. He brings a raya from where Acher. Acher was the Rebbe of Rameya, and he ended up going off the derech, went the wrong way. So he says she'imoi achla min avodas kachavim. His mother ate non-kosher food. Goram loy le'ez zeknusai sheyetzer l'tarbetz ra. Because Acher, when he was a child, his mother ate dvarim ha'asurim. Therefore, Acher, many years later, he ended up going off the derech because of the effect that it had on him when he was a child. Says that goes Ashri. Therefore, even if you're not makbar on yourself, but eating nevelos atrefis, at least while you're nursing, don't eat nevelos atrefis. You should be makbar on the kid. The kid should not have nevelos atrefis. Essentially, the Tosfos also that says the opposite. The Tosfos says, right, because it wouldn't affect the kid. The Tosfos says in Avodah Zarah the opposite. Tosfos says the same thing. He says that Tosfos got a famous story with Rebbe and Antoninus. Rebbe and Antoninus lived the same time. Rashi brings down Rashi brings down and told us that the Loim Yemotz things on that Rashi. Rashi says on that Rashi. I forgot which pasuk it's on. Rashi says that you're not going to have tznoin, radishes aren't going to leave your table the winter and the summer to show that they had a lot of money. From Yaakov it's going to be Rebbe, and from Esav it was Antoninus. Now Tosfos brings down over here a minimum medrash.
The story.
Huh?
The famous story about going to Rome.
Yeah. So Tosfos brings down the medrash that Rebbe, when Rebbe was born, Gazru, they made a gzeira shalei lamol that they shouldn't mal the Jewish kids. They shouldn't have bris milah. There's a gzeira. Now, his parents mauled him. Rebbe's parents gave him a bris milah. Sholach Keser, Faviu the Rebbe v'imay lefanov. The Keser, the king, the general, sent the Rebbe, his mother and Rebbe should come to him to check if it's true or not, if he had a bris milah. V'achlifasa imay b'Antoninis, they were good friends. I guess Rebbe's mother and Antoninis' mother were friends. Do me a favor, let's switch the babies, and then I'll go to the king. They switched babies, and they went to the king. They checked the Rebbe. They thought it was Rebbe. He didn't have a bris milah, so they stopped the gzeira. Asher v'yesed l'fnei keser v'atzu oral u'patram l'shalayim v'amar oisei hegmoin. The king said that the general said, "Ani re'isi shemalu." I saw that Rebbe had a bris milah, and now he comes in front of the king. He doesn't have a bris milah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu oisei lehem nisim. Hashem makes to them nisim that this kid he had a bris milah, and now he's coming in front of the king. He doesn't have bris milah anymore. B'chol eis every time they need it. U'batlu ha'gzeira, and they stopped the gzeira. From Amir Nami b'Yishami, shel l'soif lamad Antoninus Torah. At the end, Antoninus ended up learning Torah. Why? V'niskayer u'mol atzma. He became a ger and ended up having bris milah. Why? Because while Rebbe's mother was waiting by the king, Antoninus had to eat. Antoninus was a baby. So Rebbe's mother nursed Antoninus. From that nursing, Rebbe's mother nursing Antoninus, because of that, many years later, he ended up becoming a Yisrael. The opposite story of Acher. Just the opposite.
Not the opposite. It's taking from
I don't know,
the
good
Jews.
question. Why did Rebbe eat while he was back? It's a good question. Why did Rebbe eat while he was home? I don't know.
She bought milk over.
He bought formula. Paterna.
Wasn't there a story about 8 years ago about someone in Bnei Brak, a boy who killed a woman?
Right, could be a different Jewish woman, right? Yeah.
Did you hear of this story? In Bnei Brak, a boy killed, a from boy went off to there and killed this woman. And he was robbing her, killed her.
That was a different story. That was something else. That goes to
But it's
nursing.
true.
I had to say it's many years ago. It's 25 years old, the story.
25 years
Yeah, I
old?
heard the story when I was first got married, years ago.
Yeah,
That's a
the
different
reason
story.
why he killed the woman was
it's a different story.
the mother was very afraid. She went. It was the reason why he killed this
that's a
specific woman. It was years later. The kid becomes fry, and then
what happened was the story. So I don't know get into this. Once I said the story.
But it's the same thing. It's the same idea of kosher.
No, it's not kosher. What happened
Okay,
was
it's
there
kosher.
was a lady, was a friar lady, but she was makbid on Taras and Mishpacha. She went to the mikveh, and it was Leil Tefillah, and she went to the mikveh, and the mikveh lady said, "Sorry, it's late. We're closing up," and that's it. And she didn't let her go to the mikveh. She said, "Listen, I'm makbid on Taras and Mishpacha, but I'm telling you now, if I don't go to the mikveh now, my husband's not going to wait, and he's not going to wait till tomorrow. Please do me a favor, let me go to the mikveh even though you're closing up." She didn't let. She didn't let, and she locked up and she went home. Many years later, there was a boy who was wasn't from a boy, and he grabbed a necklace off a lady's neck. He was robbing her, and while he grabbed the necklace off, he cracked her neck and she died. So the mother of this boy went to court with her son. And when they came to court, they showed the boy's mother a picture of the lady that he killed. And when she saw the lady, she fainted. And it was that same lady who didn't let her go to the mikveh that night, and that boy was born then from that thing. That's what they say. That was the matter that was going on.
What a story.
25 years.
Huh? I heard the story like 25 years ago.
I just heard it last night.
Yeah.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Same story?
Anyway, so Rashi, the Agaros Ashri, they say the reason why, even though it's a mutter for a Jew to be manik, to nurse from a Goyish lady, the reason why they should not is because they're eating the velis, the treifas, they're eating not kosher food, and the kid ends up eating the non-kosher food. What would come out according to this, if you have a lady, a non-Jewish lady, who you say, you know what, I wanted to nurse my son, but from now on, don't eat any non-kosher food. You wait a half a year, whatever it takes to get out of the system, whatever you want to say.
6 hours.
And 6 hours, whatever it is to get out of the system for nursing. And now, you only eat kosher food. According to this, it'll be fine. It'll be fine for a Jewish person to nurse from a Goyish lady if she's makbid not to eat non-kosher food.
Vegetarian.
The Rashba says a different reason. The Rashba says the reason why a Jew should not nurse from a Goy is because the teva of goyim is different than the teva of Yidden. Yisraelim or Rachmanim, Baishanim, Goyim Lechasadim, the Gemara says, Yisraelim have this teva that they're different than the goyim. The goyim have more of a achzoristic teva. That's their teva. Therefore, the Rashba says that if you nurse from a woman who has that teva in her, even though she's not eating the veils of treifus, but she has that teva, you get that teva from that person. So therefore, if a Jew nurses from a goy, the Isser is according to the Rashba because they're going to get the teva, the characteristics of the goy, and Jews have different characteristics than the goy. That's what the Rashba says. That's what it's brought in Allah. The Ramah says, they should not nurse from a goy. Why? The chalav avedes chachove metamtem halev umoilid loy teva ra. It ends up putting in a person a bad teva. You end up getting the teva of the characteristic of the goy in you, and you don't want that. V'chein, he says, the other halacha, he goes to chumrah both ways. We have two reasons here. The Rashba's reason is because you get the characteristics of the goy, and the Agoras Hashri is because they eat the veils of treifus, and you're getting to the veils of treifus. The nafkamina between the two reasons is according to the Rashba, we don't care whether the goy is eating right now in the veils of treifus. You're never allowed to nurse from a goy.
Even with an accident?
Huh?
If it was by mistake, you
If it's by mistake, what do you do?
Absorbed.
I heard that Muncie, the Muncie story many moves ago.
We'll get to that in a second.
There's another story coming up.
That's not the teva of the goy.
No, it was not kosher food.
Yeah, something else. That's non-kosher food eating.
Oh, this is
you're eating from a guy who the guy's teva.
Oh, I see.
We'll get to non-kosher food in a second. It's the same thing. Okay. Here we're talking about if you're yoinik from a guy, you nurse from a guy, you end up getting the teva of the guy. And if the problem is because of the food they eat, so even a Yisrael who eats non-kosher food, you shouldn't. But according to the Rashba, if a Jew eats non-kosher food, there's no problem nursing from them. Because the teva of the Yisrael is the same.
Yeah,
but that's what we...
So we'll see in a second. We'll see in a second if non-kosher food by itself changes the teva of the person.
If you eat treif, that's what we don't eat pigs.
Yeah, we'll see in a second. From here we don't see that. From here we don't see that yet. From here all we see is that if you nurse from a goy, you get the teva of a goy. I heard recently, I don't know if it was Damat or two, but I heard recently, and before I came today, I checked it up. I heard recently they have, in medicine, Baruch Hashem, moving very forward very quickly. And I once heard something about that. When you have transplants, so there's a shuvah in the Chalkas Yaakov. The Chalkas Yaakov says that if you have to do a transfusion, a blood transfusion, you should rather use the blood of a Yisrael over the blood of a guy, because of this reason. He says, the Rashba says that if you take from a guy, you get the teva of the guy, you get the characteristics of the guy. Therefore, the same thing would be if you take the blood. You transfuse blood from one person to the next person, you get the teva of the guy, and you don't want that. It says that, today you don't really have a choice in the matter. You get it from a bank.
You do have a choice.
Huh?
It should be a kabbalah.
You do have a choice. You can tell me you want your family member to give you.
Yeah. So if you get a family member, it's the best thing. Yeah, it's kal v'chomer. If the milk does that effect,
the blood, everything's in the blood.
For sure, the blood itself.
What do we say?
Have an effect.
Blood.
Yeah.
That's the expression.
So that's what the Chalkas Yaakov says. If you have a choice by a transfusion, you should rather use the blood of Yisrael. Now, I heard recently, a little while ago, that we have, by transplants, that if there was a story once, someone told me that they transplanted a heart from one person to the next, and he got the characteristics of that person. That's what I heard. So I figured I'll check it up online. So I figured I'll check it up online. So this morning, I had a few minutes, and I shouldn't say this on the video, but I Googled it, and I saw a whole article,
What's that?
about transplants. That if someone gets a transplant, they get the characteristics of the donor, and have rice. And I kept it on my phone. I'll read to you what it says. He gives a bunch of examples here.
Not everything hard.
He says there was a person who had a transplant, and after the transplant they ate the whole time Burger King rings. I don't know what that is. Some type of food from Burger King. And they couldn't figure out why he liked it so much. Many years later, they connected the donor to the receiver, and they found out that the donor liked Burger King rings.
Even after the transplant?
No, his daughter was dead.
He wasn't alive anymore.
But then he
Must be a
says,
family member.
I can read the story. It's an unbelievable story. It says here.
Must be a family member.
It says, in another example, it says, an 8-year-old girl received the heart of a murdered 10-year-old. An 8-year-old girl transplanted got the heart of a 10-year-old girl that was murdered. The girl who received it began having terrifying dreams about a man murdering her donor.
Murdering her?
Her donor. She had dreams about that.
He sees it.
Wow.
It's in the blood.
Until then, the murderer had not been caught because they didn't know who it was.
Don't tell me she knows.
But recollections from the girl's dreams, she described the murderer, were so precise that police were able to track down the killer, and he was convicted.
That sounds like a movie.
It's not an actual story, right?
Holy
You can all
mackerel.
look it up online. You can look it up online.
Poltergeist.
It's true, right? That's true.
Steven Spielberg.
But
Yeah, he doesn't know those kind of movies.
we're not bringing fear. We're not bringing rise from these type of things. But one thing we see that teva of a person could be given over through certain things. The heart's given over. It could be the person gets the certain teva of a person. The dam of a person could give over the teva of a person.
Goes into the dam.
Yeah. The milk of a guy could give over a teva to Yisrael. This is Chazal. We talk about the Rashba, the Rishonim, years ago.
They already knew.
1,000 years ago, they knew about these things, and they said then already that the milk, if you take milk from a Goyish woman, it ends up creating in you a teva that's a teva of a goy, and therefore you should not nurse from a Goyish woman.
Well,
Isn't there a
Alexander
special
was.
blood bank in like New York where they only have Shomer Shabbos blood.
Never heard of it.
No, could be. I don't know.
Start business. Go for
I don't know
it.
if it's legal. It's legal to give blood just to certain places.
No, the people that donate are only.
I don't know if it's possible. Is it allowed to donate blood only for certain people? I don't know how it works.
I know. I heard
I
of
don't know
it.
if it
Why
works.
can't you?
You could, here you could. Here you can't.
I think one of the questions they asked
Canada, you
is
can't do anything.
You can't say that. If it's a certain person,
Can you take your blood and say you want to save it in case
Your
you
own
need it?
blood could be put aside.
yeah, but you can't put it in the bank and say they can only use it for certain people.
Yeah, you can't say it for Jews.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I mean, if you want to give to a
I think the
specific
biggest
person,
time-
you could do that.
The biggest thing you have over there is forget about the Jews. Is Alexander. I mean, that's who was the one who Antiochus?
Antoninus, yeah.
That's like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Here, where you use the reverse, and he actually became about.
He became about Tshuva, yeah.
He's a ger.
Not about Tshuva, yeah,
A
right.
ger. But one
So he
drop of
says,
milk.
so he says over here. So from this Rashba and this Ramah, we see you shouldn't nurse from a guy. Two reasons: either because they ate the veils of treifus, or because again the teva of the guy. Now, the Shach brings down over here that it's not just by nursing. The Shach brings down that we know there's halacha that a katan oichel nevelis, a katan, a kid who's eating non-kosher food, ein mitzvah la'afrisha, you don't have to stop him. A katan's doing an avera, you're not mechuyev to stop him. I don't want to get involved in that whole sugya. It's a big sugya in Shabbos. If he's doing it for himself, so we say to people making Hilchos Shabbos,
Everybody except his parents.
that a guy could go to a katan could turn on a light for you. It's a mistake. A katan cannot do anything for you.
This is everybody except his parents. It's not clear.
No, even his parents, it's not a person that they're mechuyev d'afrishay. That's a person. But said the Rabbanan not mechuyev d'afrishay. So says the Shach, even though we know that a katan oichel nevelis ain't ovav mitzvah d'afrishay by said the Rabbanan, bar barachaim Shem Gimel Hayden Medina. That's Meikar Adin. A father doesn't have to stop a kid from eating non-kosher food. Still, the father should stop the child from eating it. Eating non-kosher food will affect him when he gets older. Why? Non-kosher food is the same thing as nursing from a guy. It's metamtem as a lave, and it puts in the person a tevara
So
when
when
he
the
gets older.
stability is don't stop the kid. So of course you stop the kid.
That's what they're saying. Even though then you don't have to, but you should because of this. One's halacha and one's not halacha. Halacha is you're not mechuyev l'afrishay.
But it's going to damage you in the long
It's
run.
advice.
That's right. It's advice. But it's not halacha. You're not mechuyev to. Father doesn't want to. He's not mechuyev to.
This is the right you're mechuyev to.
Is it the right? Yeah. It's the Rabbanan. It says. There's a rise of ruah. There's a halacha by Hilchos Shabbos. A woman that's a chayla, somewhere a woman over there, after she has a baby, she's a chayla, and she needs to eat, and there's no food for her. There's no meat for her. She needs meat. Halacha is you're allowed a shecht for her on Shabbos that she should eat the meat.
Pregnant woman.
The pregnant woman, question. It's a sakor, it says.
Sakana.
Yeah, sakana. Pasha she had a baby, now she has to eat. So the halacha is that you're allowed a shecht for her on Shabbos to eat meat. All the Rishonim ask, why shecht for her on Shabbos? Take non-kosher meat from a nevela and give her to eat the meat. Why do you have to go and shecht an animal on Shabbos for her?
It's kosher.
Shechting an animal on Shabbos is a nisakaris. You're even on Shabbos. Eating nevelas is a lav. We know, says Azurua, that for every chayla, machilim is hakal kodim. If you have tevel for nevela, you give nevela. Right? So why over here do we say you're over an Isser Chomer, Mechilol Shabbos, to shecht an animal, in order for the kid to eat, for the mother, to eat a kosher food. Give the mother to eat non-kosher food. Different Mahalchim and the Rishonim. Says the Izurua that if a person has to eat kosher food, has to eat food, he says like this. He says, Hainu, this that you give the kal kodim is only kshebol lechel iser. We have a choice here. We have tevel and we have the vela. Both of them are iser. Both of them are dvarim ha'asurim to eat. So you pick the less of the iser. It's possible to eat kosher food. Yochel liyos, it's possible. Shemutiv sheyechalalu hashabbos kivin shenitem lidochat with pikuach nefesh v'yichalu heter mishayechlu iser afapishu isalav. Says if you have two isurim in front of you, one's a bigger iser, one's a smaller iser, of course you should give the smaller iser. But if you have a choice, kosher food or non-kosher food, and the kosher food you have to do a bigger iser, says you definitely do the bigger iser. Why? To eat non-kosher food, that we don't do. Because it makes a pagam at the person, and we stop anybody from doing that. So you have a choice between Chil Shabbos and a lav of nevela. Even though usually you do the less of an iser, here we do the more of an iser of Chil Shabbos in order to avoid the person from eating nevela.
There's a lot more Chil Shabbos going on.
A lot more Chil Shabbos going on. Shechting is...
Shechting and salting and cooking.
Yeah, the cooking by nevela also you have to do. But you have all the Chil Shabbos. It's still more important to do the Chil Shabbos. Why? Because when it comes time to eating Dvarim HaAsurim, that's the worst. That's what Tamtam as a lave, and that's the worst. There's a Tosfos in Avodah Zarah. Zerua also has the same kasha. The Tosfos in Avodah Zarah that says, there's a question.
The woman who gives them the she's a choila, being mitzar. Just from her perspective, it's
right.
like being mitzar a person, choila, to have to
give
be
it
in the veil.
She doesn't know.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize it.
Oh, so she.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't know. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a sugya in Avodah Zarah. There's 3 mitzvahs that Yav v'Yaharag. There are 3 mitzvahs. You have to kill yourself for them. And you're not allowed to get and Yavar. I mean Yaharag v'Yavar. You have to kill yourself not to be over them. Shvichas Dom Gilei Arayos in Avodah Zarah. Shvichas Dom Gilei Arayos in Avodah Zarah. 3 averos. How about if someone on a different avera, he wants to do Ma'aseh Nefesh? Someone comes over to you and tells you if you don't eat chazir, then I'm going to kill you. Are you allowed to say, you know what? Kill me. Well, no. There you have to eat the chazir. You're not allowed to kill yourself for no reason. For chayvaham, you have to. So it's a big shaila here if you're allowed to do that or not. If a person's allowed to. So I'm not talking about b'far hesya, the whole different halachas. If the guy is trying to make the yidin shmad, and it's b'far hesya, and he does it, then in the chanami,
talking about privately. Nobody's there.
No one's there. And someone comes over to you and gives you a choice. Either you do an avera or I kill you. Are you allowed to say, you know what? Kill me.
Or
no, you have to do the avera. You're mechuyev to do the avera.
That's all you're being fed. And that's all you're...
Any avera.
No, I'm saying that's all you're being
Shabbos.
fed, and you're just going to die if you don't eat.
He'll kill you. The guy will kill you.
Yeah, that's
well, the same thing, yeah. If it's the only food you have. Right? It's the only food that you have. Another example, yeah. Not a guy's going to come kill you. You have no food, you're in a place, there's no food. All you have is non-kosher food. You say, no, I'm not eating. It's non-kosher. I'd rather die. Is a person allowed to do that or not? So Tosfos is a whole shaila about that. Tosfos says you're not allowed to. And then it brings v'tzorach iyan. When writes lahachmir al atzmai afilu b'shar mitzvahs v'shoyi. You're probably allowed to. Why? Tosfos brings a story. Kemoi Reb Abba bar Zimra, the Yerushalmi, shehaya eitzel avodas chachavim. He was by a guy. Amar loy, the guy told him, achol nevela, eat nevelas. V'iloi, if not, katlina l'cha, I'll kill you. Amar lei, so if Abba bar Zimra said, iboyes lemiktali, k'toil. Kill me. What should I do? I'm not going to eat the nevela. U'machmer hoya, and he was machmer on himself to get himself killed over eating the nevela. Tosfos wants to bring a raya that a person wants to go ahead and kill himself for any other avera, he's allowed to do it also. From this story, says the Arizurua, it's not a dimyan. You can't compare that story to any other averas. Why? So he says that's only by achilas devarim ha'asurim. It's v'tamtem es alev. Then a person has the right to give away his life, not to eat things that have v'tamtem es alev. Why? Because he doesn't want to live a life like a guy. It's going to change his whole life. It's v'tamtem es alev. If he does an avera, not midid achila, not eating, then the halacha is he's not allowed to give up his life. But if he does an avera that has to do with eating, treifis, if someone's going to try to force him to do an avera that has to do with eating treifis, says the Oizerua that you're allowed to give up your life, even though in other mitzvahs you're not allowed to. Even though in other mitzvahs you're not allowed to.
You're allowed to.
So Tosfos says with all.
You're allowed to. You don't have to. You don't have
Tosfos
to.
says with all mitzvahs you're allowed to.
Tosfos, yeah.
From that
We don't pass on Tosfos. Now that the mitzvah that's not Yarg Val Yarg, the halacha is Yarg Val Yarg. As the Rus is a chiddush. By it comes time to machalim ha'asurim, you're allowed to. You're allowed to. You're allowed to give up your life and not to eat machalim ha'asurim. So we see from over here, it's not just when you're being manic from a guy that you get the teva of a guy. Even if you eat dvarim ha'asurim, it's also the same thing. It puts in you a teva. The machalim ha'asurim of the Torah change the teva of a person.
So why do we care? Why do we care about katanim then?
But don't we not mechuyev to shachs the should? It changes the teva.
It should be also then.
What?
It should be also to let a kid.
It should be also. Yeah, you let are you is it awesome in a Torah? Is there an issur to let a kid on the internet? Say it's an issur? You can't say it's an issur, but you have to. Right? They have to stop a kid. Right? Is it mitzvah la'frishay? I don't know mitzvah la'frishay. Depends if I'm going to say daraisa. I don't know. But the same thing with machalos ha'asuris. Even though there's no issur, now mitzvah la'frishay, but avad should stop.
So we've been talking about nevelos and treifus, but what about, let's say, chometz b'Pesach? Would that apply also?
So that's a good question. Any machalim ha'asurim is masha from the shach. Any machalim ha'asurim they're not allowed to eat. Chometz on Pesach or there's plenty of tevel, right? Tevel, basa b'cholav. Even though they use the lashonis.
What about blias, like from Kalim?
If it's also to eat them. Yeah, so we spoke about this once. If you have a blias and kelim, it's mutter. It's bottle b'shishim. And you're going to say you don't want to eat it because there is a little bit of dvar ma'asum inside if you're allowed to do that or not. We spoke about that once. If you could be machmer. Since by Torah it's bottle, could be not allowed to be machmer. But it's interesting to note that most of the Rishonim, when they speak it out, they say to eat dvarim ha'asurim, which means the veilus, the treifus, things like that. They don't speak about chometz on Pesach. They don't speak about chometz on Pesach, even though
Chometz after Pesach.
chometz after Pesach.
That's the Asurim already.
Yeah, it's chometz on Pesach. Even though there's a Maisa. There's a Maisa in the Gemara. The Kadosh Baruch Hu said that Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't bring takala on tzaddikim by midid achila. And what was that? I don't remember what the case in the Gemara was. The case in the Gemara. I don't remember what the case was. If that was the Nevelos Treifus or not. I don't remember. There's
They brought from the Chamor of Radyun They said that if he was careful, how did this person get to eat it?
So what was he eating? What was that?
I don't.
I don't remember what it was. I don't remember if it was a truma, a tevel, or if it was a firm asurim. But it's interesting that we find that in the Rishonim speak out, the reason why we eat kosher animals, non-kosher animals, is because the non-kosher animals have in them that teva of ritzicha. The animals we eat are animals that are nirdafim, that are chased, not that chase themselves. Right? This whole, and they say that the same thing with the veilus and treifus is also the same thing. So it could be they didn't only in the veilus and treifus. I'm not sure.
Or non-kosher animals.
All non-kosher, but even kosher animals. Even kosher animals, that's in the veila. For sure, it's said on it. Treifus. Right? There's a Ramah. We spoke this out once. The Ramah says that there's a way of checking an animal if it's a treifa or not. The Ramah in Hilchas Shchita says that there's a way of checking an animal if it's a treifa. Then it's a kosher animal, but it could be has a hole in the lung, so it's a treifa. How do you check it? You run your hand on the neck of the animal. If the animal goes down, it shows it's not a treifa. If it stays standing, it's a balgaiva, says the Ramah. It shows that it's a treifa and we can't eat it. And that's why we don't eat treifis, because it puts inside the person some type of teva of gaiva. You see, even kosher animals could have that same thing. If it's a treifa, if it's an avela. Okay, let's let me on the bench.